Alright, so wow, my legs are pretty trashed today. I did a session last night and I'm really just plodding around today, but yeah, I thought I'd give a bit of a more long-term update on the Pegasus Plus here, which I've now gotten to 250 kilometers, so I think that's quite considerable mileage. Yeah, let's see how this has been holding up for me. Yeah, I mean, I really like this shoe, as in really like it, but I do find, what it comes down to is this shoe is 180 euros, and I mean the Rebel V4 is 160, the Mark 6 is 160, and the Evo SL, which I've been enjoying so much, is 150. Yeah, I mean, I really love this shoe, and this is definitely one of my favorite shoes that I've tried in a very long time, but I do find it quite hard to recommend over the competition. If you compare this to a lot of other shoes that we have now, this does feel a bit more unique actually, and I've pointed this out in my last video as well, but this shoe has a pretty traditional geometry to it actually. It's fairly flat here in the midfoot and has a pretty minimal and kind of gentle dip upwards here, and yeah, it's much less of a rocker geometry, and as such it does have its selling point, I think. I mean, yeah, this is a very classic kind of Pegasus feel, really. If you've ever run in a Pegasus model, well, they have the traditional high drop of 10 millimeters, which means that you don't have a lot of cushion under the forefoot, as well, that's just how a high drop works. You kind of puts you on a bit of a slant. Yeah, I just really like how this shoe gives you some ground feel underfoot, and way more than the other ones I mentioned. Just have less cushion under the forefoot and get more of a sort of connection to the surface you're on. You just end up with not a lot of material under the forefoot and really not a lot to sort of squish into, as it were. Yeah, it's just a simple ride, really. I think on some days that's exactly what you want. The shoe you put on and get the job done, as it were, and not really think too much about it. So what have I been using this shoe for? Well, to be honest, it's been for the vast majority just easy runs, really. I mean, I have done a few moderate runs in this, but that's kind of where I want to criticize this shoe a bit. Is this shoe is pretty limited in terms of pace for me. So yeah, I have noticed that the Pegasus Plus, I mean, this foam, this is just not the same stuff as we have in the race shoes. It just doesn't have the same kind of proportion to it. It very much feels like a shoe that tops out at moderate pace for me. I mean, just checking out the upper on this, actually quite a lot of padding to it and quite a lot of structure as well, and also a relatively thick spreading of outsole. And you do notice that, if Nike wanted to make this a super lightweight shoe, then they certainly could, but it's just positioned more as a daily trainer now and not so much as a speed shoe. Yeah, it's just, not really a lot to it, and kind of a simple shoe at the end of the day. Look at how flexible this is. You can basically bend this in every direction, and on the plus side, that means that this is a very natural ride and does not interfere with your stride very much. But the downside is, if you need any kind of stability, this shoe does not really offer that. Yeah, I think this shoe is best suited for these kind of daily runs where, you're not feeling terrible, but you're not feeling amazing either. And yeah, just get the run done, basically. quick look at wear and tear here. As I said, I did 250k in this, and I have to say I'm not super impressed and actually a bit concerned about this outsole, as if we look at this portion here, it's getting very, very thin and it's basically almost gone on the outside here, so I don't know how much longer this is going to last. And I mean, the exposed Zoom X here is looking pretty terrible, but that's not really something that ever feels like it impacts performance. It's more this spot I'm worried about. Yeah, I think Nike, I think they sometimes take Zoom X foam as a bit of an excuse to charge a premium price for a shoe that, you know, is at the end of the day a bit basic really. Yeah, I think the shoe actually makes quite a lot of sense just from a rotation kind of perspective. I mean, if you look at Nike, I think someone's searching for their dog there. So yeah, dog has been found, it seems. But what I was saying is I think this shoe pairs very well with something like the Zoom Fly 6 or the Tempo Next Percent for your speed days, and maybe the Vaporfly or the Alpha Fly for race day. Yeah, overall, I mean, I know I've been criticizing this shoe a bit, and I think rightfully so, as I do think this is overpriced and it cannot quite keep up with the Evo SL. But as I said, this does offer something a bit unique, and yeah, I think as such this really is a shoe that might be worth consideration for you. And yeah, hope you found this somewhat useful and entertaining, and as always, like and subscribe, and see you on